everyone hear me back there? Good. My name's Brian Fitzgerald. I'm the sales director with Legg Mason. Thanks for hanging around with me this afternoon. Quick fact. Are you guys familiar with the lost decade?
Yes.
Quick fact. I heard recently that the best performing mutual fund during that time frame was the CGM Focus Fund. On average, it returned 18% a year. Now we know that the market didn't do that well. Actually, it averaged a negative 1% per year during that time frame. But here's the interesting part. Can anyone tell me what how the average shareholder holding CGM did? How they fared?
-3.
10%.
Heard -3, heading in the right direction. They were actually down 11%. You have a fund that's up 18%, but you have a client that's down 11. Why? Well, quite simply, you have a fund that does very well, everyone rushes out to buy it, but conversely, when it does poorly, everyone sells it. They're doing what typical retail investors do. They buy high and they sell low. So why do I start with that? Well, I think that's the case we have in munis today, which I want to touch on. In the municipal space, we've seen $50 billion in outflows the second half of this year, which equates to about 8% of the entire space. But that's not the first redemption story we've heard. You guys know Meredith Whitney. Well, at the end of 2010, we saw $40 billion come out of mutual funds, and at that time, that was close to 7%. Now, these numbers by no means are flattering, but they are comparable. And if we went back to the end of 2010, what we would see was a great buying opportunity. Because through 2011, munis returned over 10%. Now, I know your clients face challenges. Rising rates, headline risk. Western Asset Management is positioned to help navigate your clients through those risks. They have $30 billion in municipal assets under management. And they have an investment team that's averaging 24 years in the industry. That's experience. They prefer revenue bonds over GO bonds, which I think highlights the health of their research and the strength there. And as of recent, in the recent news out of Puerto Rico and in Detroit, that positioning has been validated. And lastly, they have the ability to put on a basis trade. They have the ability to short treasuries to hedge against duration risk. Now listen, I know every one of your clients are going to approach risk differently. They all do. But that's why Western Asset has a muni suite. We can provide tailored strategies for your clients however they want exposure. For the more conservative, we have shorter and intermediate duration strategies. Important to note, we have special pricing on our C-share. No load in, no load out, no holding period. And for those who want to be a little more aggressive, you can go out in duration. For example, our Muni High. So why do I bring this up? Well, I think it's because your clients face a challenge. But conversely, I think munis are fundamentally improving. We've seen tax receipts increasing 13 consecutive quarters. We've seen states, local municipalities, they're cutting costs. And we've seen an improving housing market. Valuations have become so attractive that we've seen crossover buyers. And I think on the eve of the January effect, it's time to start having the conversation again with your clients about munis. Last thing you want to have happen is them to become a statistic like the CGM shareholders I spoke of in the beginning. If you have any questions, again, my name is Brian Fitzgerald. I'll be around to take any questions if you have.